I think the first edition DM's Guide is one of the best role playing books ever written, and I want to tell you why. Today on Greyhawk Grognard. So, just a reminder, this video is being done in conjunction with Eric Tenkar and Joe the Lawyer. They're also doing videos on this topic, and we're going to share them on each other's channels. I encourage you to watch theirs, and if you're watching mine on one of their channels, please do consider subscribing. It really does help. So, the first edition DM's Guide. You can see mine is very well worn and very well loved. And I just want to talk about some of the sections of this book that make it so great. It's just there's a ton of information in here, and one of the things I like about it is that it does fill in some of the corners, but it doesn't hit you over the head with it, and it's not like you need to memorize all of this information in order to play the game. The combat tables in the middle, yeah, you do need those every time you play, but the rest of this stuff, it's good to have it as a reference and be somewhat familiar with it, but you don't need to have it all off the top of your head. Now, one of the things I love about this book is the how to run how to conduct the game, which is on page 110. Um, and this is just basically general DM advice. And when you're a first time player just starting out, this is invaluable. So how to roll the dice and how to control the game, where it talks about the how to how to deal with the monsters and how because you're the DM, how do you treat them? So it says, in many situations, it is correct and fun to have the players dice such things as melee and saving throws. However, it is your right to control the dice at any time and to roll for the players. And he talks about doing this like if you're searching for secret doors. Um, uh, if you roll the dice and you see the outcome, then the players won't know if they succeeded in the die roll or not. So they could fail the die roll, and there could still be a secret door there. That kind of thing. Handling troublesome players, integrating experienced or new players into an existing campaign. Just all this stuff. Multiple characters for a single player. There is no absolute prohibition regarding multiple characters belonging to a single player. Where it is deemed beneficial, the DM may allow multiple characters as he sees fit. Intervention by deities, the ongoing campaign, and this is where it starts talking about six guns and sorcery, like taking your players and putting them into Boot Hill, or Gamma World, or something like that, and so on. So this just that section alone, it's very reminiscent to me of the first section of uh, B1 in Search of the Unknown, where he gives a ton of very valuable tactical DMing advice. And this section for me really hits that spot too.
Hi, everybody. Please help me keep Greyhawk alive by liking this video and subscribing. It really does help. You can also become a member of the channel or support me on Patreon and get early access to my videos, exclusive content, free or at-cost copies of my Greyheim Adventures modules, and more. Thanks, and now back to the show.
Now, along those same lines is the section on the campaign, which starts on page 86. And this is a little bit different, but it's still filled with advice for the DM. And this is on how to create your campaign setting, where the first one I had was how to play the game. This is how to design your setting. Because remember, back in the day, everybody was expected to have their own setting, right? Everything was it was homebrewed. There was the fantasy campaign from Judges Guild, and there were a couple other things here and there, but this was long before uh, TSR had published anything on the world of Greyhawk, as a setting to be used by others. But you have here just all kinds of great things. How to setting things in motion. This is just right here. In these couple of paragraphs. This is how you start a campaign. It's not always you all meet up in a tavern, but this gives you a beautiful way to set up your game, and it's a formula that works every time. Your characters all knew each other already. They came to another village or town where they had heard that there was a dungeon. And the reason you do this is because now you don't have the expectation that the player characters are going to know everybody, right? They're going to be in a new situation and they're not going to know who everybody is. And then you have a dungeon nearby that they can go to, and then go use the village as a home base. That right there, that's just great. Climate and ecology, typical inhabitants, an active, how many hit points do active males have, and stuff like that. Social class and rank, which gives a great breakdown of government forms and different royal titles and noble titles and stuff. Social structure, upper, middle, lower class, which obviously gets really beefed up in Unearthed Arcana. There's a thing on economics, duties, excises, fees, tariffs, taxes, tithes, and tolls. That's something we really leaned into when I was growing up. Everything was taxed. You're walking into the town, you pay a tax. You bring back treasure from the dungeon, you're getting taxed on it. So we really took that seriously. How to place monsters in terms of the populations and stuff, placement of monetary treasure, magic items, territory development by player characters, and on and on. It is a great section on a lot of the things that I take for granted right now. But flipping back through it, this is where all that came from in my mind, and and obviously with experience, I was able to flesh it out more. But the basics, they're all right in that section. And last but not least, it's technically a part of that section I discussed before on the campaign. But starting on page 94, there's a sample dungeon, right? And this is a very famous map that goes with it. So it gives the dungeon itself, and at least the first couple of rooms of it, and then it talks about the dungeon adventure, how you do movement, how you search. Detection of traps and noise and unusual circumstances, as it puts it. And then it gives several pages of just a narrative of how the game is played. So the DM says, "What are you going to do now?" The lead character says, "Light our torches and go down the steps." Fine, I'll need a marching order, and on and on and on. And it goes on for pages explaining exactly the back and forth between the game master and the player characters, and in the process of doing so, it gives you you understand how to play the game now, because up until now, the structure of how it's actually played is kind of still amorphous, right? Unless you've already seen it played by somebody else. But with this section, you now instantly, okay, oh, that's how this is supposed to work. And that's how you do 10 by 10. That's how you do secret doors and so forth. And if how do I use a 10-foot pole and stuff like that. It's just all kinds of great practical stuff crammed into those few pages, and in the same time, it's telling you how the game is actually played. So that section, the campaign, and the adventure, those three sections are so great to me, because if you're a starting DM, you need that information, right? That is, if you're just starting out with the game, you've never played before, those three sections will give you a huge head start over somebody who doesn't have it. So anyway, those are my three choices. Let me know what you think in the comments. What are your favorite parts of the DM's Guide? I would love to hear it. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Don't forget to check out Eric and Joe's takes on this topic, and I will talk to you all later.
Thanks for watching today's video. Please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Below you'll find links to my Patreon, which helps make these videos possible. You'll also find the web store where you can buy my books, and my blog where you'll find all sorts of free downloads and other articles. Thanks, and have a great day.